What about the fact that women want to work? I mean, they should have the right, don't you think? Most women want to have a career.
Well, I don't believe that's true. You're telling me what you've been told and what you've been told to believe, not what you actually believe and not what's actually the case. No, I don't believe for a second that most women want to work and most women want to have a career. That's PR. That's propaganda. Honestly, did you think that most women want to work and also say that women have equal intelligence as men? Because if they have equal intelligence as men, what intelligent person would choose to work if they had a choice not to? I know a man wouldn't if given the choice. I know that most women don't want to work. I don't need to see the statistics because I work, so I know what it's like. No, you can only convince a woman or anyone else that it's wonderful. It's just so fulfilling to dress up in business clothes and go to an office all day if they've never worked. You can maybe sell that message to young, inexperienced people, but anyone who has been in the workforce for any length of time will tell you it is not exactly living the dream.
A woman says, I'm independent. For us men, that's not cute. It's not attractive because it's as if you're telling me, hey, I really don't need you, but if you want to come on board, then sure, come along. We men want to feel needed. Now, I know a woman is going to interject immediately and say, but we women want to feel needed as well. Sure, but men, we are not the ones saying we're independent. We can do it on our own. We don't need you. We're not saying it. It's you women who are saying it. So that's why we're just using that as a rebuttal. When you say I'm independent, you leave no room for vulnerability. We men, it's part of our nature. Women and men, we want to feel appreciated. Women want to feel appreciated. And if they're doing their part diligently, they should feel appreciated. We men want to feel appreciated as well. But when you come up with this, I'm independent, I can do it on my own, I'm telling you, sister, wallahi, brotherly advice, you're going to have a hard time finding a husband and continuing that marriage.
It is within the nature of women to be attracted to those who are higher in status. This is a very important concept that we have to understand. Why? Because this nature of women is contrary to equality. We can ask them right now. Do you prefer to marry a man who is equal to you in his size, equal or maybe even weaker than you in size? Do you prefer to marry a man who is less intelligent than you, less accomplished than you, less motivated and driven than you? Is that what you prefer? Or do you prefer a man who is stronger, taller, larger, smarter, more successful, has more money? What do you prefer, sisters? You tell me. Because if you want to destroy the patriarchy, I'll give you the solution to destroying the patriarchy right now. It's a very simple solution. When you want to get married, marry a man who is weaker than you, smaller than you, stupider than you, poorer than you. Then you can boss him around. You can be the boss. Go ahead. The solution to patriarchy is in your hands, sisters. But for some reason, none of them want to do it. None of them want to marry such a man. And that's because that's not in your nature. So why pretend that that's not your nature?
Assalamu alaikum. I see you guys are enjoying my content, but you are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and don't forget to like this video. Jazakallah khair. Now, look, I got a lot of criticism for my stance on the fact that I don't really think it's the best idea when women and perhaps the traditional educational route coincide. And what I mean by traditional educational route is the modern sense of the schooling system. This is your primary, middle school, high school, college, university, and so on. And for so many reasons. I mean, there is one reason in particular that I actually wanted to highlight, and this is where I think perhaps when I speak to sisters, those sisters who haven't like really had exposure to perhaps the working world, and I can tell you the propaganda machine has worked really well with these sisters. These sisters are so determined to embark on a career and enhance their academic status. This whole getting a degree, masters, and PhDs, and so on. That the typical response is that, oh, marriage and family can wait. Babies, for what do we need babies for? What do we need children for right now? I need to work my way up and then have a family. But little do they know that they themselves are running themselves out of the marriage market, really. And this is not me saying that women should not be educated. This is not what Islam prescribes in any case. But the modern traditional educational system is quite the troublesome thing, I think. I mean, think about it. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. These are prime years for a woman, right? She has the best potential at this point to find a spouse where her beauty is intact, her fertility is there, and frankly, she hasn't really experienced the world, which means she is more innocent and perhaps even more vulnerable and delicate. All right, I promise you, these are things that men actually adore, and they would seek these qualities, at least real men, that is, which she wants in any case. I'm sure she doesn't want some like bum or simp-minded man, right? But no, 30, 32, 33, 35, these are the years she's actually wanting to settle down. But then it's too late. Her biological clock starts to tick. She like she can't compete with her younger self in terms of her own beauty standards. And then she has acquired all this hard, masculine, tough frame about herself that simply she herself is the man that she is looking for. After all, she has climbed the career corporate ladder and spoils herself with, luxury homes, cars, material things, holidays, and so on. So it's kind of tough. Then let's not forget about this term, hypergamy. Uh, well, basically, she wants someone better than her in social status, finance, intelligence, strength, and so on. But she has risen, or she has risen the bar so far high that because of her career, simply because of her career and education, that she expects someone way above her pay grade. All right. This way above her pay grade man dwells within the lower percentages of the male population. And if it is that she's seeking out this man, then probably she would have to share him. Perhaps he has, multiple wives, or, in this day and age, it's girlfriends and, you know, other types of relationships and so on. So there's that to compete with. Then uh, the thing is, right, because she becomes so tough, especially away from the comforts of home, protection of the parents, close family, we find that in the corporate lifestyle, it is actually a doggy dog world out there, right? Um, she has obviously encompassed this lifestyle. She's going through the grind basically, and also consider the early years when education is filled with like this fitna type college lifestyle, right? With so many temptations and uh, troublesome things, issues that occur during this time. And in the job market and jobs and careers in itself, the working place itself, it's not the most conducive thing for, these qualities that men are looking for. uh, I think it takes real strength to go through all this, because there's so many, like I said, challenging things that typically happens during this time, and it makes one tough. And so a man does not want this tough, masculine, argumentative, dismissive woman. A man already deals with his boss at work, and he simply doesn't want one that is, at home. You don't want a boss at home. You simply don't look for a boss in the marketplace, in the marriage marketplace. And you know what really gets to me, right? This is the one that ticks me off the most. And I've seen this within my circles: mothers, aunts, older women who are all downright miserable and drained by their jobs and careers, all wish, either secretly or in the open, that they ultimately want to be at home, right? Taken care of by a man, a husband. Of course, this current system, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, has caught up with them, and they are now involved with debt slaving, trying to pay off their debts and living this high lavish lifestyles and so on, which of course forces them to be dependent on the job, on the bag, basically. So no end in sight really, and this is a terrible hole, I think, to find oneself in. On top of that, the family at home isn't really coping that well, and it is exactly these women who advises their own daughters, right, to follow in their footsteps. Subhanallah, I really don't get it. And then lastly, another thing that really bugs me is the father, the man, the leader of the household. He also encourages his daughter to go out and do this, uh, to go through all this troubling things. And I mean, um, their daughters will eventually find out that this is not the promise that they have been promised, right? Um, the job, career, lifestyle for women simply don't work. It's not within their nature to be out in the public space, right? And there's a lot of controversy when it comes to me mentioning things like this, especially within this femme-centric modern Western world we are living in.
You must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
I was just in Qatar and I was speaking to someone and he was saying that we started to have a marriage crisis as well in Qatar. The moment that women started to have money and start working. So I was saying why, and he said it in this way. He said, she's thinking, I've got money, he's got money, I can leave him at any time, I can go and do whatever I want. So what do I need you for? Basically, I don't need you for the sexual aspects. I can get it from another man, I can get it from myself. I don't need you for love. I don't even love you.
Don't need you for children either. You have artificial insemination.
Even children, like I can get a nanny. So what are you bringing to the table? I feel like this will be more of a problem in areas of the world where the standards of living is higher. There's a cultural aspect as well. You go to Nigeria, I think it's very easy to get married to a second wife.
We're talking about the first wife. You're talking about now that you're talking about the second wife or third.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, there's some miskin in the comments saying we want one wife. We can't find one wife.
I'm not going to be a slave to a man.
And then you go to OnlyFans, again enslaving yourselves to these people that are paying your wage. or you're going to work 9 to 5. Again, a man is telling you,
Why are you coming late? Why are you coming at 9 o'clock? I'm gonna dock your wages. Go and do this, go and do that.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
and then you earn that dollar, and then what are you doing? You're spending it to these corporations. And who are the CEO of these corporations? They are men. They think that they are free, and then by the time they reach 30 or even 35, who wants to marry if you've got an option? Because men, as they grow older, they still have options. As a man, on the one hand, you've got a 35-year-old. On the other hand, you've got a 25-year-old. I'm not saying that a 35-year-old is not a good option or this or that. I'm just telling you, generally speaking, a man would opt for a 25-year-old.
Now, OnlyFans is a step too far, I think, for Muslims. I think perhaps, and I do believe that the typical average Muslim will never ever dare go that far as to sell themselves on such a platform. Although you get some sisters who are, on social media exposing a bit too much. Nonetheless, the point is, which Brother Zishan is trying to make, is that, while the fact that women have an easier means to earning income or basically looking after themselves, it makes it more difficult for them to find a brother that's perhaps capable of, taking care of them, and they don't realize it themselves. And so, there is this discrepancy, this drift between man and woman that is occurring on a social level. And, typically the average woman and man perhaps won't really understand this on, like, on a personal level, on within their own lives. There's just like, they'll just question to themselves, why am I not finding this ideal person? But these external factors are quite real, and it is affecting our communities. And on that note, guys, Jazakallah khair for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share, and if it is that you enjoy my content, definitely subscribe. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.